1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Making your way in the world can be hard enough.
I'll check my bathroom.
I'd have to run my hand up and down the bath. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It doesn't matter how many times I do it, I just say a number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
When you suffer from obsessive compulsive disorder, it can be a nightmare.
I had to go and find all the knives.
I so easily could have just gone, that's it. I don't want to be here anymore.
We follow the extraordinary lives of 4 young sufferers as they attempt to live a normal life.
It's a very persuasive illness.
Because I just had this vision that I'd be like locked up in like some sort of psychiatric hospital.
These are incredible first-hand accounts of days consumed by routines and rituals.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
The spoon has to be tapped in a set way.
You can touch it, but I'd have to like reorganise it.
Revealing their private battles with frightening, intrusive thoughts.
OCD picks up on the things you're most scared of and uses them against you.
I used to hide in the toilets because I was so afraid that I'd hurt my teacher.
As they fight to conquer their demons, to take those first steps into adulthood.
So I was studying medicine, so I would have been a doctor.
I don't know how I'm going to cope with stuff like sharing a bed. I don't know how it's going to work. Honeymoon, I'll think about it on honeymoon.
I feel like it's OCD 1, Ali 0.
It's estimated that 1 in 55 young adults in Britain have OCD. One of them is 20-year-old Meg. She lives in Devon with her mum and works full-time as a flooring designer. She's suffered with OCD all her life, describing it as the monster on her back.
I have to touch that once with both hands, so it's twice and it's equal. And then I have to do the same here, and then I have to touch the radiator. Sometimes it's twice, sometimes it can be 10 times, and I have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It depends how anxious I am at the time of how many times I do it. And then I can then go upstairs.
Known as intrusive thoughts, Meg's convinced bad things will happen if she doesn't complete this ritual up to 10 times a day.
It's kind of like so many times I've sort of had a panic attack about the thoughts, like intrusive thoughts I've been having, and I've been told so many times just to, you know, just try not to think about it. But in my mind, that's just like telling someone who's broken their leg just to walk it off. Like, you can't do that.
She has a fear of odd numbers, so has to complete each routine an even number of times.
That light switch underneath 2 times with the flat of my thing, because I think it's because I've got, everything has to be stable. Open the door, it'll be with the flats of my palms like that with both hands. And then it'll be the same when I close the door. I then have to hold my hand over the taps, and then I'd have to run my hand up and down the bath 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come out of the bathroom, and then I'd go back into my room. I have to touch the door handle on both sides like that, and then close the door. And then if I accidentally hit my arm on it, and then I'd have to do it again. So if I did that, I'd have to do it again. And then I'd touch this one 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then there's a plug down here. 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'll be able to get into bed. And I'm already knackered and I'm sweating because I'm really tired and I can't breathe. And then I can get into bed. And then I can chill. And then that's when I've realised that I've forgotten something downstairs and I have to do the whole thing all over again.
The fear of odd numbers is overwhelming, invading all parts of Meg's life, travelling with her everywhere she goes.
When I went on holiday earlier this year, on the train there, I had to sit in an odd-numbered seat. And then on the way back, there was a terror attack in London. And my first thought was, I caused that by sitting in that odd seat. And the frustrating thing about OCD is that you've got a logical side of your brain and a non-logical side of your brain, and it's constantly fighting. It's like having two voices in your head just going at each other all the time. And it just sounds so ridiculous to me, and I don't like things that don't make sense. And it doesn't make sense. OCD doesn't make sense in the slightest, because how can me sitting in an odd-numbered seat cause a terrorist attack?
Stressful situations can make OCD symptoms worse. 23-year-old Serin lives with her parents in Somerset. She is getting married in 2 days' time.
I am a massive perfectionist, which is where a lot of my problems come from. Ah, perfect.
From the age of 18, OCD has made her extremely unwell. She's recently started to get better.
This is my maid of honour.
Serin will be marrying 29-year-old Johan, who in the past has suffered with an anxiety disorder himself.
So we've been together about a year and a half, maybe? We met online, cheesily enough, on a Christian dating website. Oh, it's hilarious, really.
Having gone through something similar to Serin, I can understand her behaviours sometimes, where other people might be confused with them or be offended. It's not a personal attack on anyone around her. It's just that she's struggling to cope with something in the moment.
I have a thing about bodily fluids. My OCD is just all around bodily fluids. Like, in the past, I wouldn't have been able to touch a chair seat. I don't really like doing it now, but I'm okay with it. Someone's bum's been on it. Like, that mark would really freak me out. I don't really like it. I'm just going to pretend it's not there. In the past, I would have just immediately have to go and wash my hands. Now, I'm okay with it because I've rationalised it. I do fact or opinion. Fact or opinion, it's poo. Opinion. I can't factually tell you that. Where's the evidence for it? There's none. So therefore, it doesn't matter.
With the stress of the wedding looming, a lost phone sparks panic.
So where have you been?
I don't know.
No. Let's just calm and let's just think.
I don't know. I've been in the study, I've been in the lounge, I've been in that study.
What do you need your phone for?
I need it. I just need
No,
it.
but why?
No, because I need it because I have to know where it is.
Yeah, but does it matter now?
Yes. I feel like I took it back from my queen.
Thank you very much. Here it is.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in
yeah.
Serin's bag.
In my bag. Yeah. Which was in the market.
Which is what you'd expect.
Yeah. 2 missed calls from home when I rang myself to try and find it.
There we are. You can relax now.
Okay. Thanks. I think it's easiest to describe it as some kind of addiction. Like you're addicted to giving in to the anxiety. But it's like if you were addicted to drugs or something, you'd have to go and take it again. And if someone says you can't take it, then you're gonna go through cold turkey and you're gonna have all these reactions, and that's exactly what happens. It's exactly the same thing, just obviously with anxiety as the drug.
Obsessive Compulsive Disorder torments sufferers with frightening, intrusive thoughts. Meg's have driven her further than rituals to painful self-harm.
I was recently diagnosed with obsessive skin picking, where I will sort of sit and it could literally be hours. I just sit and scour my whole body for any type of bump, and I'll sort of convince myself that I need to get that bump out. I feel like there's something in it that's going to infect me, and I'd more worry about affecting other people than myself. I've got one on my hand there, and I've got one on my foot there. That was a tiny bump, and I'll pick at it until it's massive like that. Or I have like a scar on my hand there, and I have scars all up my arm and on my legs. And I'll go and sit in the bathroom for like an hour and just check on my body, and I pick, and it's sort of like you go into a trance and you sort of forget about everything else. It's sort of, I feel like I'm in a bit of still denial about it, I think.
The skin picking is the first thing Meg deals with as she begins her lengthy daily morning routine.
But if I put a plaster over it, then hopefully during the day I'll be less likely to pick at them. Because it is one thing that makes me late a lot, is spending a lot of time in the morning checking my skin, and I'll lose a lot of time.
She spends up to 2 hours each morning touching items before she can leave the house.
Like usually, because I put my makeup on and stuff in the morning, that links to something bad happening during the day, and I don't necessarily know what that bad thing's going to be, but it's like the overwhelming feeling of like dread, you know, that sort of nervous feeling you get in your stomach, and it's kind of like that. And sort of to make it subside a little bit, that's where the touching comes in, because I feel like somehow I can influence how the day goes just by stroking my makeup or something. I've always sort of wondered how quick it would take me to get ready if I didn't have to do all of this, but I couldn't really imagine it. It's quite weird. I'm feeling very anxious that I feel like I've missed something. I have to do it because I need to do it, and it feels like I'm protecting everyone. So I'm protecting, say, my mum from something awful happening to her by me doing it, and I feel sort of the OCD makes me feel completely certain that just by me touching each light switch twice or 10 times or however many times I need to do it, that's what's sort of saving her life in a way. Throughout the day I worry that I've missed something or I've overlooked something, or like I've misjudged something, so I might look at something and think I don't need to touch that, but then I'll think, well, what if I actually did? And especially like tomorrow, it might be different things that I touch or need to touch, and then I'll think, well, I didn't touch that yesterday. Did I need to touch that yesterday? Did I forget about it yesterday? Yeah, I think I'm done now. Yeah.
Extreme OCD makes everyday life a challenge. Annie is just 18 and is in the middle of her A-level exams. She has some very early memories of feeling something was wrong.
The OCD became apparent when I was around 6 years old. I used to constantly wash my hands, and I caused myself really bad eczema. I just used to wash them like constantly. The idea of making sure that they were so clean, it just upsets me to think that that I was such a young age, like I was so innocent, like I had no idea that it was something like this. Like here is like organised, so you can touch it, but I'd have to like reorganise it.
Annie was finally diagnosed a few months ago.
I'll say, I don't think you'll touch it. Yeah, I don't think you'll touch it or anything, but there's like different objects here that are like aligned and yeah.
Her mental health had deteriorated drastically in the run-up to her A-level exams, and she was experiencing intrusive thoughts.
I think the biggest thing for me that made me query what I was experiencing was when I like used to hide in the toilets. I just started sixth form and I used to hide in the toilets because I was so afraid that I'd hurt my teacher, my drama teacher. So I just felt it was best hiding away from it, which sounds really sad, you know, and I look back at it and I do think, you know, that's such a shame that like most of my time at school was spent hiding in toilets.
The OCD has had a profound effect on her studies. She can spend hours a day checking and rechecking everything in her room is in its place, taking precious time away from exam revision.
Okay, like I made myself a deal with the devil, like I'm gonna check. Like I'm gonna have to like check everything. Like, I kind of gave myself like a couple minutes. I was like, oh, do you know what? I'll revise, like I'll look through my piece of like paper and whatever, and then I'll, you know, organise things. This is so dusty because I just don't use any of it. I just organise it. And then it's even more frustrating when I don't use it. So when other people touch it, like it shouldn't be an issue, but it still is. It's not even a nice display, you know, but it's just something that it latches onto.
Annie lives with her parents and younger sister. Mum Marie is helping her to cope.
No, because you've probably not eaten all day.
No, like I'm not hungry.
No, you need to have something, Annie. I'm not going to pin you down, but you need to eat and drink.
Yeah, I know, but
I have to admit, I was under the misunderstanding that OCD was for people that had to have things ultra clean, or touch things so many times before they leave the house. Or
so basically me when I was younger.
I think we're all guilty of joking about going, oh, I've been a bit OCD today, tidying up with something or other, or something like that.
I didn't even know what OCD was. I didn't know it was like about intrusive thoughts.
I was never ever aware of that as part of an OCD symptom. I just thought, like I said, things being set so, or, you know, not thoughts, not bad thoughts.
Those bad or intrusive thoughts are what drive the rituals, which in turn can be debilitating. At one time, Seren was washing her hands over 200 times a day.
When I was younger, I read this thing in school about how you should wash your hands properly, otherwise they're not clean. It was like a thing up there, and I think that's just stuck with me forever. When I do this thing, I've got loads of soap there, so I'm gonna do that. Both hands. Often I count, I don't realise I'm doing it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'd be halfway to turning it off and then going, just in case I didn't do it. I get weird looks even now just doing the shortened version, let alone what it used to be like.
But for Seren, it's her nighttime routine that's most time-consuming. She has to complete these checks every day before bed.
So before I go to bed, things that all really worry me is like my straightener's down there and I've got a heater, and I have this massive fear of things catching on fire. So I have to make sure that I check that they're off. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then come across here, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't matter how many times I do it, I just say a number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll check my bathroom. It's done. That's all done. That's not open, else I won't get out. I won't lose my cat. I check my sockets up here, and I check my windows. 1, 2, 3, 4 windows. 5, 6. I need to check them off. I need to see them. 5, 6, 7, 8. I've lost count. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I shut the door behind me, and then 2 seconds later, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're locked. They're locked. Hamster's done. And then I'll go all the way downstairs, and then I'll go, what if the window was open and I miscounted? And then I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then I'll count it all again. Those two. Then I'll come back downstairs, check the windows again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is what takes me time before bed and when I'm leaving to go somewhere.
I probably only see 5% of what Seren deals with on a daily basis. 95% is contained within her. So I'll never fully understand what she goes through, but when you become married, you take on not just the good stuff, you take on other people's burdens as well.
I just really want to go back and check all those windows now, because I know they're open upstairs, but I really want to do it again. Because I've started the routine. Even though it's not bedtime, I've kind of gone into it, so I want to do it. But I don't need to do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Straighten this on the floor. Yeah, I don't know why that is.
Witnessing a loved one locked in a vicious cycle of obsessions and compulsions can be devastating for families. Meg's OCD has isolated her socially, so she spends a lot of time with her parents, even working alongside Dad, Steve.
It's a very persuasive illness in terms of how it controls you and the way you think, and it convinces you the things it can convince you of the impossible. And it's like the OCD picks up on the things you're most scared of and uses them against you. In, you know, the most awful things like, you know, murdering someone or being a paedophile, or the most horrific things you can think of, it will sort of use that against you, and it could convince me that I'm capable of that, even though I know I'm not. As easy as saying, like, the sky is blue.
I know that you're going through that, but I can't stop it. And I never quite know, because you've learned to hide it well, as to when you are actually having those intrusive thoughts. And, you know, I'll do anything to stop.
What's the most upsetting thing for you, kind of, as a parent?
Knowing that these bad thoughts are in Meg's head. And as I say, it's not being able to find a solution for it. You know, if something breaks, car breaks down, fine, I can find a solution for it. I can find solutions for most things. I cannot find a solution for this. And I can't stop. You know, feeling that Meg is going through this every day.
Like my dad said, I'm used to being able to say to him or my mum, I've got a problem. I need you to fix it, and then they'll fix it. But there's not a specific reason why I am the way I am, so I feel like, how can I find a solution to it if I don't know why it happened? But it just doesn't make sense.
If it was just about tapping light switches, that I wouldn't concern me at all. It's knowing what's going on in Meg's head and why she's doing that. And it's dark, really dark.
OCD compulsions come in all sorts of guises. It's first thing in the morning, and Annie is carrying out a tapping ritual. She can spend hours each day tapping her magic number 15 over and over. It has to be completed before she can do anything else.
It's really kind of boring. Like, I hate doing it. I feel actually more like tired just doing that than like anything else. I find that one so kind of like awkward, because it's never like just 15. Like, I would do it another, 15 times.
Annie has found a unique way to communicate how she sees her OCD.
So, at the minute, I am blurring some shadows into my OCD gremlin called Fitchel. And his name is formed by the words fidget and control. I found it so difficult to talk to people about how I was feeling and what OCD was, because I myself didn't quite understand it either. So during the pictures kind of showed what my head is thinking. At times it can seem like what you're doing is almost you're being told what to do by someone else, and if you don't do it then you feel guilty for doing it, and it's just like a little toddler asking you to play, and then it keeps going and going, and then you give in. And I guess that's kind of what OCD's all about. That urge is non-stop and it keeps going until you sadly give in. And, yeah, and then you do the ritual.
Facing life-changing events can make OCD even worse.
I've done the olives, butter's being done, chutney's going in. I need the hummus.
It's the day before Serin's wedding, and she's busy with last-minute preparations.
There's all these people here.
But there is one issue she hasn't thought of.
I don't know whether I'm going to use the actual toilets or not, because they're like, well, they're nice toilets, but everyone will be using them, and I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe I'll come to the house if I need a wee. I'm not sure. No, I'll come back to the house. That's fine, there's people at the house. But the house will be locked. Oh, I don't know. I haven't thought about this. I'll think about this later. Yo! Hello.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
My groom.
After the wedding, Serin will be moving in with Johan, and her aversion to bodily fluids is a cause for concern.
I don't know how I'm going to cope with stuff like sharing a bed. I can't do that. I'm really funny about it now. I'm funny about people sitting on my bed, let alone having to... I might share a bed, but then I did think that I could have the spare room as like my protected space, but that's not good. I shouldn't be encouraging my OCD. That's not how it should be. I don't know how it's going to work. Honeymoon. I'll think about it on honeymoon. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. One step at a time. That's what we've said.
Like Serin and Annie, Meg finds that her compulsions are particularly intense at home.
Okay, so yeah, I've got to pile things up there, because if I do that and then open the drawer, they'll just open by themselves. I can't handle that at all. That'll make me panic. Stay there. And then if I can't close them, then I'll have to find something else and then try and lodge it. If that makes sense.
What is it about drawers being open, do you think?
I don't really know. It's not something I've done forever. It's kind of in the last year. And I don't know, I just feel like drawers are open, it just feels like something bad's going to come out of it. Like, you know, like when you're a kid and you say like there's a monster living under your bed, it's kind of like that, but in my drawer. And then, because it's like my heart then starts to sort of go and I can't close it, and especially like on mornings where it just won't close and everything falls off, or the cat will come in and knock everything off. So now it's closed and I've got to... It's even more frustrating when I've spent ages trying to close a drawer and then I have to go in the drawer to get something, and I usually just try and avoid that as much as possible. But now it's closed, it's kind of like I can breathe again a bit. But I'm already feeling quite anxious about what if it opens again, and I feel like I have to keep looking at it to make sure it's still closed. The first memory I have of my OCD was when I was about 5, and I remember counting in 2s in my head when my mum used to go out, and I thought if I didn't count in 2s and stay awake until she got home, that she'd be killed on the way home, she'd be followed and she'd be stabbed, and I had all these thoughts in my head, and at 5 I thought that was normal, I think, and it wasn't until I was about 15 where I realised what obsessive compulsive disorder actually was. It's kind of like having loads and loads of people in front of you just shouting all these things at you and you can't hear and you're just surrounded by all these different people, and that's kind of what it's like.
Each sufferer has their own unique combination of OCD rituals. 24-year-old Jamie lives in London. His OCD makes it very difficult for him to work full-time. One of his most distracting compulsions is to spend hours each day checking he's saved appointments in his calendar.
And then once it's in the diary and I'm happy that like it's there, then the element of, you know, am I going to forget this? So then I'll press today, it comes back to today, and then I'll just like swipe across just to check it's still there. Press today, swipe across, check it's still there. And again, like when I've done that so many times, I then start to think, well, I've done that so many times, if I'm gonna accidentally delete it, I've probably done it in that whole process of like messing around with my calendar. So then like that triggers me to do it all again. Because I know it's bizarre, I know it's weird, I know I don't need to do it. I know the thing won't accidentally delete. It's just that thing in your head that's like, the urge to do it.
Jamie's life has been profoundly affected by OCD. He was forced to drop out of medical school because the anxiety made studying impossible.
So I was studying medicine. So I would have been a doctor by now. I would have just graduated, really, which is a weird feeling. Because again, I feel like there's this conflict, like a part of me wants to do that, but I don't think the OCD part of me can do that. I can't imagine being a doctor. With me in particular, people don't see what's going on because it's in my head. And so I think people just think I'm normal.
Jamie's had a feeling that something wasn't quite right all his life.
When I was younger, I thought it might be something more serious, like schizophrenia. So I used to get like quite a lot of intrusive thoughts when I was younger. So like, if you don't do this, like your dad's gonna die or something like that. So that's what kind of kept me not telling anyone for a long time, because I just had this vision that I'd be like locked up in like some sort of psychiatric hospital.
Routine and familiarity make Jamie feel safe, and that even extends to what he eats each evening.
So every day this is, unless I'm out for dinner, this is what I eat. So probably been eating this since January, and what is now June, so 6 months.
That means he will have eaten this exact meal around 150 times. As the wedding day approaches, it's time for Seren's family to reflect on a tough few years and a time when she was so ravaged by OCD she barely left the house.
Well, I was just having a look at my blog again. 9 showers a day, washing my hair up to 8 times per shower. That's 72 times a day. I'd go, what if I missed a bit of hair? What if I didn't do it right? Maybe I didn't do it. Did I do it? I'll just do it again just in case I didn't do it. Rewashing and clean laundry up to 15 times. I did the same load 15 times once, do you remember? It took me all day to wash one load of clothes.
Well, don't you remember what happened is if the washing finished and you took it across to the tumble dryer, just one thing dropped.
The whole
like
thing
it
had to be
something,
rewashed.
the whole lot had to go through again.
And so everything was quite damp, and you would wear damp clothes.
I'd wear damp clothes, that's it, I've forgotten that. I used to wear completely wet clothing to uni. I'd be like, I've got to be at a lecture, I've got to go now. And that is when I started to get all my skin in like where the crevices are, like completely peeling.
I think it's very easy just to be able to think of you as the victim, if you like. But the pressure that it has put on both of us and our marriage has been huge.
I didn't think we'd get through it, to be honest with you, a couple of times. I just thought we would end up parting because it was
really
bad. Yeah.
What, you and Dad?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Things had got so bad, Serin's dad, Dennis, filmed her during a severe episode to convince doctors of how poorly his daughter had become.
Serin, you are perfectly all right, and it is perfectly all right. You can do it, Serin. There is no need to think about it because it is not a problem. It is not a problem, Serin. Serin, it is not a problem, darling. It is not a problem. It is not a problem. It is not a problem. Listen to me. You do believe me. You do, Serin. You believe me because the OCD is telling you absolute rubbish. You know that. It's horrifying, isn't it, when you look at it now? As a parent, that really takes you to the core because that's my little girl. You know, that's my treasure. And I think back to all the videos we used to take when you were young and you were happy and you were running around and all those, and you think about all those fantastic moments, and then I think, how can that be my little girl?
I so easily could have just gone, that's it. I don't want to be here anymore.
You did keep on saying, this isn't life, I can't go on like this.
You were holding her so she couldn't move.
Yeah, I had to restrain you a couple of times.
I had to go and find all the knives and the scissors and so on, and I thought, where can I put them? I know, the dirty linen basket, because there's no way you're going in there.
It's funny now.
I know it's quite, it's funny now, but it wasn't then. It wasn't then.
But
I wouldn't dream of doing anything like that now because I'm in the mindset that everything is possible.
Absolutely.
It's all possible. I'm so sorry for being such a bitch about the whole thing because I used to yell at you and I was horrible and I didn't mean it.
But I mean, I think it's amazing how things work out because now, with this leading up to the wedding, this is incredibly stressful, far more stressful.
I'm doing okay.
And you're doing unbelievably well. I think this is incredible. So proud of you.
Thanks.
It's the morning of OCD sufferer Annie's final A-level exam.
How are you feeling?
Like crap.
This is a crucial time for her. She must get a handle on her compulsions if she is to complete the exam.
Like, I have the urge of like tapping, but it's like so long. That I know that if I leave it, it's just gonna still be there. But I'm gonna wait it out. I'm gonna try and wait it out just a little bit because I just want to see. I'm trying to challenge it because one, I don't like doing it because it is just so time consuming. And now I'm gonna have to do it, like it's so bad. Oh, I feel so sick. I just kind of feel ashamed doing it though. It makes me feel kind of like, it makes me feel like crap when I do it, but then also relieved afterwards because I've done it. I'm gonna have to do it because I'm like getting really kind of like restless. I don't.
You feel a bit more at ease now?
Like I do and I don't. Like I kind of want to, obviously I kind of feel happy that I've done it. At the same time I'm like, I feel like it's OCD 1, Ali 0. No.
She's a mature, clever young lady, very articulate, highly intelligent, and this blasted vitriol that she's dealing with, as she calls it, is zapping her. It's holding her back at the minute, which is a shame. But hopefully, now that she's in the system and she starts getting some help, hopefully we'll start getting Annie back again and, you know, kick vitriol up the backside.
After several years of intense suffering, Seren began the long journey to try and manage her illness.
So since I was diagnosed, I've had hypnotherapy, which I really enjoyed. I still do that now before I go to bed. Hypnotherapy, exposure therapy, which was literally the only really thing that massively made a difference, like a huge impact. The exposure one, you basically say, I'm scared of loos, and then they go, right, come on, let's go to a loo. And you're like, but that's, it'd be like saying to someone who's afraid of heights, let's go bungee jump off the Eiffel Tower or something. But it's like doing that, but you do it every day, all the time.
What she's accomplished today in terms of organising all of this, I'm super proud, and actually this kind of, for me, and I'm sure it will for her family, this represents the journey of recovery that she's come on. I think 2 years ago, coordinating something like this would have been unthinkable for her.
I don't know, it's a long haul. Because, I mean, I don't know, you can't get away from it. There's always something that's going to bother you when you've got OCD. It's everywhere you go. So you literally, every day, you just have to do 1,010,000 things that you don't want to do, and that's the only way to get over it. I find songwriting therapeutic. Like, breathe, keep it together.
That's definitely a message for anyone who struggles with OCD, who can't kind of see the light. Actually, at the end of the tunnel, there is life and fun to be had, and I think Seren, she's been able to show that with today, or tomorrow rather. But yeah.
And think of yourself, breathe, keep it together, breathe, keep it together.
It's been a rocky road for Seren. But she's managed to overcome her OCD and have the perfect wedding day. Her future with Johan is looking bright. Jamie's feeling positive about the future and continuing to improve. He's started to write a book about his experiences. Soon after the exams, Annie and her family began a program of intensive therapy. She hopes to be feeling well enough to think about going to university next year. Meg continues her battle with OCD. She's studying to be a counsellor, hoping in future to help others crippled by anxiety.